Eric, Stan, here is your father's watch. It's cool. It's a cool watch. I mean, it's a 6105, so it's automatically cool, of course. But it's a cool watch. It's an interesting example. The basic stuff as always. Let's talk about the numbers. The mainspring feels a little gluey, but that's real typical. I mean, also quite typical is the beat error. We've got a fair amount of beat error, and it's real choppy and kind of dirty, kind of messy. It's having trouble resolving a clear signal. I mean, I can tell just by looking at it that it's kind of rough. I mean, we're getting some up and downs and a lot of snow. I mean, it's nothing really deadly. It's just, yeah, I mean, again, real typical numbers for an unrestored 6105. I've seen a number of these. Today is evaluation day, so I'm going through a lot of the watches that have come in, and a number of them are 6105s, and they're all the same in terms of, you know, basic wear and the same kind of performance and the same kind of numbers, and that's what we see. Like the other 6105s I've looked at today, yours also has worn lower arbor port. Someday I'm going to find the engineer at Seiko who decided not to protect that lower port, and I'm going to tell him I won't buy him a drink because he should have done a better job. They probably suggested it and then decided to cut corners, and I wish they hadn't, because these are such great watches. The movement looks good. Doesn't look like there was ever water inside, which is very, very good. And the watch looks completely original and unrestored to me. There are no servicing marks inside the case back I can see. Let's talk about cosmetics. Now, the interesting thing is I said there was no servicing marks I could find inside the case back, but it was clearly serviced. It was serviced later, after these watches were discontinued, and a lot of the parts started being discontinued, because this handset is for a 6105, is for a 6139, a chronograph. So there are replacement handsets that are correct, that are available. They're aftermarket, but they look identical basically to the stock ones. They did a really good job. If you take the aftermarket ones and you have me relume them, I can match the lume color to your dial. They'll glow, which your dial won't do, but they'll look much better than this. You'd probably relume your original hand, leave this sweep hand the way that it was. But these are service hands. The 60, these were never made with this handset. The dial is beautiful. Something that is interesting, and I wish I knew when this was serviced, when they did it, this crystal is a Type 3, but it's a really rare variant of the Type 3, and I don't think I've ever seen one in the wild. It's a curved top Type 3. It's a double dome Type 3. And we make reproductions of this dial, but it's very rare to see one. It's a cool piece, and I might have to. I'm going to do some documentation on this watch. I can't say that it's original, and I would be surprised if it was. I don't know where it came from or who made it. Clearly the watch has been serviced, and I'm assuming that when they replaced these hands, they might have popped in a different crystal too. I just don't know where the crystal came from. So that makes it a little harder for me to document it. Generally the watch is okay. Movement's fine, needs a service. It should have unless you really want to preserve it as how your father had it, with this handset, with this correct 6130 and incorrect 6139 handset in it, we just need to figure it out, what you want done. If you want it to look like a stock 6105, or do you want it just to be restored to be the way it was when your dad had it? Okay, you tell me.